All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeftTV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Let's step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to sandy Zandvoort. This is TurnLeftTV, and I'm your host, Heath Johnson. The High Octane Racing League GT3 Series hits Zandvoort, the beaches of Zandvoort, for race number 4 of the season. It's a 60-minute race, and it's going to be a good one here, man. Got a good crowd here today, and man, this track is a lot of fun. It's the GT3 Series, it's Zandvoort, it's a 60-minute race, baby, and it's all live right here on TurnLeftTV. Well, who has what it takes to tame the dunes at Zandvoort? Race number 4 is promised to be a great one. 60-minute race here, all live right here on TurnLeftTV. All right, thank you so much for joining me here on TurnLeftTV. Little GT3 action for you today. And we are in the Netherlands. Virtually. Right now in the qualification session, and we're at Zandvoort today. Very fun track. Unique track, offers a little bit of mix of just about everything. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, broadcaster, commentator, and this is Zandvoort. 60-minute race. Very fun track here. Excited for this one. Been waiting for 2 weeks to bring you this race, so should be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me here on TurnLeftTV. Already got some chatters in here in the chat session. Good to see them. Today's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server for your league, or how about hosting your website or your online store, DPS hosting and shared web hosting also available through EliteHostingUSA.com. And that's who provides our service here at HighOctaneRacing.net. So please come in and join us. A good quick link to the Discord server. Also find out what the updates are on the various series that we run. And you want to know who's running what throughout the week to get your times dialed in. Our rFactor 2 times link as well. So thanks for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. Again, I'm your host, Heath Johnson. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And share my videos with all your friends. And don't forget to smash the bell, man. Click on those links down in the description of this race and follow those over to the various websites we have. We got the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Got a couple cars that are sponsored by Extra Life today on the grid. So great charity. Raising over $3,000 for them. Also got the SimLab website link in the description of this race. And a quick link to PayPal if you'd like to make a donation to TurnLeftTV. Thanks to all those folks who subscribe and share my videos with all of their friends. Encourage your friends to come out and subscribe as well. Right now we are in the qualification session. Take a look at Lucas Simpter in the Radical. Gerasimov, the top time, 134.276 in the Ferrari. See a little bit of banking here. That's kind of a change in the modern configuration, or the latest configuration of Zandvoort. Underwent reconfig a number of years ago. A couple, 3 years ago, maybe. Target time 134.276, and that's Nikolai Gerasimov. Off the track there just a little bit for Sinther. A little bit loose in that 21 car. Take a look at Ritsky Novar in the Porsche 97 car. Gerasimov the top time. Ritsky Novar in his outlap. Got Dennis Udichin joining us here in the Corvette. He's on his qualification lap right now. Got one down in the books. He's currently 10th on the grid. So a little bit slower there in sectors 1 and 2. Sector 2, the faster of the two that he's completed so far on this lap. A little bit slower there on lap 2. 139.943 for Dennis Udich, currently 11th on the grid. Bardelli Jr. in the Ferrari, right now 6th on the grid. Little bit of sand there on that one. There you go, 130. Missed that time. What did he run? He won a 135.289, I believe, on that one. Alexander Meshkov, a little trouble here. Into BMW in his outlap. Definitely going to take a toll on those tires. Let's take a look at the track here at Zandvoort. 4.2 kilometers, 2.6 miles, 14 turns. And it's got a great mix of some really technical portions of the track, some elevation changes, and some high-speed turns as well. So it really adds or offers a bunch of challenges for these guys. Nested in the sand dunes of Zandvoort, Netherlands, just off the beach. This be a fun track to go to, huh? So that's Zandvoort for you today. On board here with Alexander Meshkov. Right now, Alexander is shown 10th on the grid. Irene Lion Dyke corner here and down the straight. So that'll finish it up for Alexander Meshkov. His qualification attempt, again, 10th on the grid. Top time for him is a 136.784. I take that back. So that looks like that finishes up the qualification session. And again, thanks for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. Short little warm-up session headed your way. And thanks for showing up here and joining me for the race today. All right, welcome back. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, and we are going to give you the qualification results Qualification results here today at Zandvoort. Nikolai Grasimov with a 134.048 starts in row 1 at the point. Berto Cristiano qualifies in the second position. Claudio Bardella Jr. qualifies third. Ritsky Novar fourth. Lucas Simpner in the Radical qualifies in the fifth position. Yuta Prasanta in the Bentley qualifies sixth. Gordon Carter in the Corvette qualifies seventh. Iqbal Kurdiawan in the Aston Martin qualifies in the eighth position. Dmitry Belevin in the Ferrari qualifies ninth. Alexander Meshkov in the BMW qualifies in the 10th position. Qualifying in 11th is Will Dunbar in the Porsche, and Dennis Yudichin in the Corvette qualifies in the 12th position. John Stanley will start 13th. Just over 6 minutes left to go in the warm-up session, and we will take a look at the season standings coming into today's race. Ritsky Novar sits on top with 116 points after 3 races. Nikolai Bezrikov, who's not here today, take another hit in points. Is second in points. Mata Andika not here as well, so he'll take a hit in points. He's third. Berto Cristiano is fourth. Fifth is Rizal Abdurrahman. Will Dunbar is sixth. Nikolai Gerasimov seventh. Dmitry Belevin is eighth. Iqbal Kurdiawan ninth. And Roman Ryaptsev is 10th in points. Take a look at page 2. John Stanley heading up page 2 in the 11th position. And some of the guys here are some of the regular guys like George Artun and Zakharov. Those guys not here as well, so definitely take a hit in points. Vadim Polite 14th, Gordon Carter 15th. Yuta Prasanta is 16th. Dan Richter 17th, Artur Vieta 18th. Sergei Orlov 19th, and Igor Ignatenko is 20th. Take a look at P21 through P30. Some of these guys part-time racers. A lot of them came out maybe the first or second race in. Third race in. And you see there 31 through 37. A little bit later tonight, we'll be at Phoenix Raceway for a 140-lap race in the Saturday Night Thunder. This series has been going on for over 20 years, now 22 years. And some great Cup Series action headed your way at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a 140-lap race from Phoenix, the Saturday Night Thunder. Just under 4 minutes left to go in the warm-up. On board here with Alexander Meshkov across the start-finish line. Entering turn 1, tight right-hander here in turn 1. A little bit of a cut back here to the left, and then back to the right. For turn number 2. Left-hander here, tight left-hander here for turn number 3. And then long straightaway here, elevation changes. Great opportunity to pick up some spots. And then a little bit of a downhill portion right here and a right-hander. Turn 8. See a little bit of a cut back here. Tight left-hander. And then back to the gas. Right-hander here. This is turn 10 and turn 11. And headed into turn 12, 13 for Ari Leyendyk. Turn 13 coming up right here. Get a good run through here in this banked turn and then head back down toward the start-finish line. That's what it's like to get around here, Alexander Meshkov style, here at Zandvoort. High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series will be back in action for race number 1 of a brand new season coming up on March the 17th. And we want to say congratulations to Claudio Bardelli Jr. for getting the win last night at Atlanta. And then also a special congratulations goes out to our High Octane Racing League Bushwhackers Series champion. And that is Craig Marizon. Won the championship last night, his first High Octane Racing League championship. So congratulations to him and the Magpul Dynamics team on getting the championship in the Bushwhacker Series. A tough order, man, really. As many drivers as we have come out for that series. We had over 20 drivers last night, been consistently above 20 drivers each and every night on these ovals, each and every weekend, I should say. And congratulations to Craig Marizon for a well-deserved, well-driven championship. And that Bushwhacker Series gets back in action in California next week, starting a new championship. Can he defend and win 2 in a row? Well, boys and girls, we're about ready to kick it off here and get the command to start the engines. So it looks like the warm-up session is over. And that means 60-minute race here at Zandvoort. Great track nestled in the dunes of the Netherlands. And it's flag-to-flag coverage here. And we got the command to start the engines. Let's take a look at the starting order here today at Zandvoort. Nikolai Gerasimov starts in P1. Berto Cristiano starts second. Claudio Bardelli Jr. will start third. Ritzky Novar starts in the 4th position. A couple Ferraris up front. And how about that Porsche qualifying 4th? Lucas Infler in the Radical qualifies 5th. Yuna Prasanti in the lone Bentley qualifies 6th. Gordon Carter in the Corvette qualifies 7th. Iqbal Kurdiawan in the Aston Martin will start in the 8th position. Starting in 9th will be Dmitry Belevin in the Ferrari. Alexander Meshkov in the BMW qualifies 10th. Will Dunbar in the Porsche starts 11th. Dennis Judichin in the Corvette will start in 12th. And starting in 13th is John Stanley in the Porsche. We'll take a look at my keys to the race here today at Zandvoort. Hit those braking zones, man. Very, very important that you Johnny on the spot with the braking zones. Manage the traffic. Not too bad on traffic today here with just 13 drivers. Be brave on these corners. Some of them are really tight, but some of them are very, very high speed. No beaches. That means stay out of the sand. And then race the track, and it should be okay here at Zandvoort today. So Nikolai Gerasimov is our pole winner in the Ferrari, and we'll lead the field to take the green flag here at Zandvoort. Cristiano starts in second. Bardelli Jr. and Novar, row 2. Sinfina Prasanta, row 3. Carter Kurniawan, row 4. Belavin Meshkov, row 5. Dunbar Udachin, row 6. And the lone row 7 is John Stanley. Definitely want to get a good start here. Try to clear some of this traffic and then start working on those corners. Again, we got some high-speed corners, really, really high-speed corners here at Zandvoort, and a couple really tight corners as well. Great passing opportunities. Got to set yourself up here, and we want to get a good start. Guys getting caught back up here. Tighten it back up. Here we go. His car going in this time. Off the track. Clearing the way for these guys to take the green flag here at Zandvoort.
Green flag, go, go, go.
Gerasimov, good start here, but still tightened up. Good clean start for these guys. Already got some battles underway. Prasante in the Bentley. On board here with him. He's off the course there just a little bit. That's going to give Novar an opening on the left side. Novar in that 97 car going to get by. Prasante now in the Bentley. Drops back to the 5th position as Yuta Prasante having trouble there in the grass in that Bentley. Ritsky Novar squeaking by. Novar now picking up P4. Ritsky Novar, one of those guys you got to really start talking about here as a favorite to win this race. This guy is a great road course driver, and you see he's already closing in on Claudio Bardelli Jr. Bardelli Jr. got a big win last night in the stock cars. Novar picking up the 4th position as we take a look at Nikolai Gerasimov in the Ferrari. Cristiano just behind in that Corvette. P1-2. Take a look at Gordon Carter here in the Corvette, running in the 9th position. Had a tough run of things last night in the Bushwhackers series. Got caught in a huge, huge crash. And right now, mixing it up here in the Corvette in P9. Look at Will Dunbar. Dunbar working on the Corvette. He had gotten around Alexander Meshkov. Meshkov, he got around Alexander Meshkov. Meshkov has some trouble here, I think. Meshkov off the pace. He's had some trouble. Take a look. He may have come off track. I'm not sure. We'll go back here. Look like he is slow here on the track. We'll take a look. This is Will Dunbar getting around Meshkov. Meshkov giving him a lot of room. Will Dunbar making that pass. Looking out of the back of Will Dunbar's machine at the BMW of Alexander Meshkov. Meshkov's had some trouble here. And John Stanley coming up. Oh, Meshkov right there spins into the inside the track there. Gets into the wall. So that's what did him in right there. Dennis Yudichin in the Corvette. Oh, a little bit too much speed right here. Oh, he's in the sand. Yudichin in the sand. Does a great job of holding on to it. Will Dunbar gets by. Dennis Yudichin has to hang on. Yudichin got into the sand, and Will Dunbar got by. On board here with Will Dunbar, as you see Yudichin getting into the sand here, and Dunbar going to get by. Yudichin does a good job of getting the car back on the track. But Will Dunbar picking up a spot now in the 10th position. Take a look at Iqbal Kurdiawan in the... Iqbal Kurdiawan dives into the turn and gets around the Radical. Lucas Siffer now falling back to the 7th position as Kurdiawan picks up P6. Siffer got to give up here in this Radical. Dmitry Belevin in the 8th position in the Ferrari. And I'll tell you what, man, this is getting intense here. Just 5 minutes in, Kurdiawan got around. Siffer might not have liked how he was raced there. And Siffer in the Radical looking to try to get back by that Aston Martin. A lot of guys do not race the Radical, but Lucas Siffer says, this is a challenge. I'm going to prove to you that this car can get around the track. And here he is mixing it up. Great racing going on right there. And that's heating up here. Belevin's starting to put a little pressure on Lucas Siffer as well. As Kurdiawan's starting to pull away from these guys a little bit. Dmitry Belevin in the Ferrari. He is all over the back of Lucas Siffer. Siffer a little bit squirrely coming off the turn. A good battle there for the 7th position. Right now, Nikolai Gerasimov in control. He's got a 1 second lead over Berto Cristianto. So we've got a Ferrari and a Corvette, P1, P2. Take a look at the battle for the 3rd position. As Claudio Bardelli Jr. in the Ferrari is in 3rd. Ritsky Novar 4th. Yuta Prezante in 5th. We've got a Ferrari, a Porsche, and a Bentley. Running 3, 4, and 5. And this is starting to tighten up here. Ritsky Novar in the 97 car really starting to put a little pressure here on Bardelli Jr. Ritsky Novar on board here with him as they take a look at the Ferrari of Claudio Bardelli Jr. And don't forget about Iqbal Kurdiawan as well. Kurdiawan in the Aston Martin start to close in on that trilogy of Bardelli Jr., Novar, and Prezante. So those guys start to get a little racy here, and this Aston Martin's going to be there. He just keeps chipping away at the 5th place driver of Yuta Prezante. Prezante in the Bentley. Take a look, about a half a second gap there between Yuta Prezante and Ritsky Novar in the Ferrari. That's tightening up right there in that turn. Novar getting a good run off the turn, though. Down to 3/10. This battle is heating up. Novar trying to get around, scrubbed off a little bit of speed. And Prezante right there to pounce if he's going to leave him an opening. Prezante kicking up a little bit of dust here On board here with the Bentley number 6, Unipresenta. Curdy Alwyn in tow in the Aston Martin. This battle is heating up right there. Bardelli Jr. gets a little bit wide. Bardelli Jr. got a little bit wide there, and that's going to leave the door open, I think, for Ritsky Novar side by side down the front stretch. Bardelli Jr. got a little bit squirrely. Bardelli Jr.'s got the preferred line coming into the turn. Maybe a crossover move in store here. And there we go. Unipresenta, Ritsky Novar both challenging Bardelli Jr. Ritsky Novar can't get around. Bardelli Jr. does a good job of holding on to that spot. We got a great battle here. This is for the third position. More dust kicked up there by that Ferrari. He does a good job of playing defense there. Good, clean racing. Didn't block, just held his line. Ritsky Novar clearly faster right now. And he is all over the back of Claudio Bardelli Jr. Look at that. He's trying to do a little bit different strategy getting through the turn. He's got to be careful, though, because out of the back of his car, look at that, the Bentley of Unipresenta. All over Claudio Bardelli Jr. Bardelli Jr. did a great job of keeping his composure. Very challenging section right here. Hard left-hander. Psychopath E-Racing Academy. 97 car of Ritsky Novar. Ritzy's been very, very helpful with us here in the GT3 series and helping us get car sets going and really springboarding that effort. And great advice, and he is really wanting to get around this Ferrari. Feels like he is clearly faster, but right now, oh boy! Right now, he just cannot pull off the pass, but he is all over Bardelli Jr. And this racing is allowing Iqbal Kurdi Alwyn to close in on these guys. This is getting serious. Kurdi Alwyn keeps chipping away at P5. Right now, Nikolai Gerasimov is the leader. Got a 2-second lead over Berto Crisatianto. Crisatianto in the 15 car. The Corvette, another one of those Psychopath E-Racing Academy drivers. And he's running in the second position. Dmitry Belevin and Lucas Sifner here battling. Sifner going wide. Belevin in the Ferrari getting by. Oh, maybe not. Side by side here. Sifner going to hold on to that spot. Is he? They're still side by side through the turns. Great clean battle here. This is exactly how you do it, man. Respecting each other, not leaning on each other, and Belevin going to pull off that pass. Sifner now drops back to the 8th position. Great battle there between Luca Sifner and Dmitry Belevin. Dmitry picking up the spot now in the 7th position. Luca falling back to the 8th spot. Take a look at Will Dunbar. Quiet night here for him. He's been pretty busy with work. Not a lot of time to practice for this 88 car. Right now running in the 10th position. And that Extra Life sponsored Porsche. And about there by himself right now. About a 4-second gap between he and Gordon Carter. Gordon Carter running in P9 in the Corvette. This guy, one of our newer drivers here at High Octane Racing League, and he's all in, man. He does some great advice. Very level-headed guy, so he's got a great attitude, loves racing, and has a good time here. And here he is in the 56 car, mixing it up GT3 style. Take a look at Alexander Meshkov. He's sort of recovered. He gotten by Utichin Usually running in the 12th position. Meshkov right now in P11 in the BMW number 57 car. And I've been knowing Meshkov for a long time. He's got a little front end damage, it looks like, on that car. Yeah, he's got a little front end damage on the right side of that car, so that may affect the handling. Got into the guardrail a little bit earlier, and there is definitely on the right side of that car, passenger side, there is a little bit of damage. See if we can get a better peek at that. Kind of cheat a little bit. See definitely some damage there on that machine, so he's had some contact. Still mixing it up here. He's running in the 11th position. Here he is now going live, and he's caught up to Dennis Udichin. Oh, Udichin off the track there. Udichin had some trouble, gets off track. And does a good job of getting this thing straightened back up, get back out there. But now, Meshkov picking up the spot, now up to P11. Udichin falling back to the 12th position. And we'll go back up here to our race leader here. 45 minutes left to go. 15 minutes of racing in the books. Pretty calm race here so far, coming off the final turn. Down that front stretch is the race leader, Nikolai Gerasimov. Battle here, Iqbal Kurdiawa and Yuta Prezanta. Oh no! The Bentley off pace! The Bentley off pace. Yuta Prezanta has had some trouble and lost a couple positions here. Yuta Prezanta having some trouble. Oh my heavens, man. So Prezanta came around and gave up some spots. He got the car back straight back up, but not before losing a couple positions. We'll take a Prezanta, and there was a battle up front. In front of him, it looked like Prezanta just missed that braking point and lost a couple positions. Kurdiawan had been waiting to get by patiently. You see Kurdiawan getting by here as Prezanta has some trouble. And then another battle right there with Dmitry Belevin in the Ferrari. He gets by as well. Take a look at this. Oh my gosh! Claudio Bardelli Jr. off the track! Oh no! Bardelli Jr. and the 97 of Ritsky Novar. Contact. Contact there. We're looking at a replay. We'll take a look at this again. You see Bardelli Jr. gets way off track, tries to recover, gets back on the track, but gets into the 97 car. The 97 car goes spinning, and he's going to have some damage. He gives up a couple positions. Oh, my God. Huge problems there. It looked like Bardelli Jr. had just missed the track here, so he gets off track, gets on the right side, he's in the grass, no grip there, and then up the track, gets into Ritsky Novar, and those guys go spinning. And Kurdiawan is going to get by. Those guys lose a ton of positions on board here with Kurdiawan. Watch this. He's going to see an opening here. The Red Sea parting here for him. You see those guys bouncing off the wall. He doesn't go. Man, what a heads-up move. That was a gangster move right there. by Iqbal Kurdiawan. Oh, my heavens. Gerasimov says, hey, you guys go ahead there and beat the snot out of each other. We got a two-man race up here, and that is Gerasimov and Chris Atianto. As Bardelli Jr. gets his car back out on track, and now he is back to the 8th position, so he's lost quite a few spots. Lucas Simpler has gotten by, picking up P7 in the Radical. So tons of problems there for Claudio Bardelli Jr. Starting to challenge the Radical, though, so maybe not a ton of damage there for him. Oh, he is having trouble. You see he got a little bit of a little oversteer that he tried to correct. We're on board here with the Radical, and now Bardelli Jr. no longer challenging the Radical of Lucas Simpler. So Bardelli Jr. is having some trouble here with the handling of this Ferrari now. Battle here is heating up as Iqbal Kurdiawan in the Aston Martin. Oh, man, these guys are leaning on each other. Dmitry Belevin. Oh, no. Dmitry Belevin is saying, hold on. No, my heavens, man. There was some more rubbing and racing right there. 3 wide as the Bentley is going to slip through. Yuta Brzanta slipped through that carnage. Brzanta, the benefactor there. On board here with Brzanta as these guys start leaning on each other. And he is like, okay, man, they're 3 wide. Let's just see what happens, how this turns out. And he sees this unfold, makes some adjustments, a little bit of a last-minute adjustment there, and gets by, splitting the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Well, those guys got a little extracurricular going on. Take a look at that again. You see the Ferrari just sort of chops off the Aston Martin. And the Bentley sneaking through. '72. Nikolai Gerasimov has a 1.8 second lead. Now that lead was over 2 seconds. It is climbing back up to about 2 seconds. So it really has stayed pretty stable there between P1 and P2. These guys have a pretty comfortable gap on the rest of these guys who have been beating each other up. Roberto Crisatianto is running in the second position in the Corvette. He is the top E-Racing or Psychopath E-Racing driver. And we're not even to halfway, so it's starting to get interesting here. Guys got a little bit, maybe a little bit bored and decide to go after one another. Take a look at Will Dunbar here in the Porsche. Kind of a quiet night here for him. He's been a little under the weather this weekend and really busy. So we appreciate his effort coming out here in the 88 car and all the things that he does for High Octane Racing League and the sim racing community. We say the Dr. Dunbar, got his PhD in software engineering. Here he is mixing it up right now in the Porsche. Now this is a challenge for him. He decided he wanted to switch over to the Porsche, and this thing's been tough to sort of get a handle on, especially coupled with the numerous updates the Studio 397s has done to the performance of these cars. So hard to stay up on top of this car that's already a challenging car to drive. Just ahead of him in the 9th position is Gordon Carter in the Corvette. He is just behind Claudio Bardelli Jr. Bardelli Jr. has had a pretty eventful last 10 minutes of the race. Looking at the front of Gordon Carter's machine. So Gordon Carter is sort of chipping away at these guys as these guys beat up on each other. Just racing this track, and you have a pretty good night here running in the 9th position. So just about a second separates he and P8. Remember, we've got pit stops to do as well. Take a look at John Stanley. Quiet night here for him in the Aston Martin. I said he was in the Porsche earlier, but he's in the Aston Martin. Extra Life sponsor machine. One of our Canadian drivers here tried to close in on Dennis Uderchin. So good battle here between the Corvette and the Aston Martin of John Stanley. Dennis Uderchin in the Corvette running in P12. One of our Ukrainian drivers. That battle heating up there a little bit for the 12th position. John Stanley trying to close in on Dennis Uderchin. So we go back up here with our race leader, entering turn 1 in the Ferrari. These guys have a pretty substantial lead over P2, which is 25 seconds back. And this is the 97 of Ritsky Novar. Yuta Prezante here trying to hold off Dimitri in the Ferrari. Belavin in that Ferrari all over the back of Yuta Prezante right now. Prezante in the Bentley. A lot of guys were really preferring to go with the Bentley, but then you had the balance of performance come out, or a number of them. I don't know how many they've done, but they've done several updates there, maybe to correct some things. But the guys sort of bailing on that Bentley. The Bentley and the Ferrari. Now, some guys, hey, just stick with it. That's sort of me, man. I'm either going to be a Corvette guy or a Ferrari guy, and lately I've just been the Ferrari. I mean, that's my dream car, and I just stick with it. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm not that great at GT3 racing, so I just stick with those two cars and primarily just do the Ferrari. Drive what you know. Todd Robillard here joining us in the chat. Good to see Todd. Hopefully all recovered from the festivities last night. Take a look at Dimitri Belavin in the Ferrari. Looking out of the front of his machine, crossing the start-finish line, entering turn 1. A little bit of a cut back here, and then back to the right, and then a hard left-hander. This is turn 3. And a dip in that left-hander, and now you got a pretty substantial straight right here, a little bit of a meandering straightaway, we'll say, and then an elevation change downhill and to the right. Very fun section of the track, and a challenging section of the track. Another hard right-hander. Turn 8. Back to the left here on turn 9, or in turn 9. Long straightaway here for a hairpin, or whatever you want to call turn 10 coming up. It'll be a hard right-hander, and then a cut back to the left. Call this a semi-chicane. How about that? Turns 10 and 11. And then turn 12, fairly high speed turn here, not too bad. And then our bank turn, which is turn 13. Ari Lyondike. Turn 13, and then back down the front stretch. That was a lap there with Dimitri in the Ferrari. Didn't get home until 2 a.m. Wow. Partying hard. Old man partying hard here, huh? Iqbal Kurdiawan in the Aston Martin has opened up a little bit of a gap on Lucas Simpner, though. He's got a pretty good battle there earlier. Simpner not giving up the fight, though. He is running in the 7th position. Kurdiawan is in 6th, and just behind is Claudio Bardelli Jr. Remember, Bardelli Jr. had some trouble early on in this segment. John Stanley is on pit lane, so the first of our drivers to come down pit lane in the Aston Martin. John Stanley making a pit stop. As we take a look at John Stanley on pit lane. Iqbal Kurdiawan running in the 6th position, so 31 minutes left to go, and we're starting to hear some guys indicating they're going to be coming down pit lane. John Stanley finishing up his pit stop, coming back out on track. '56, Gordon Carter indicating he's going to be coming down pit lane in this high place moving sponsored Corvette. Kind of a weird pit, really, I think, as you come off the turn. It kind of sneaks up on you. So on board here with the Corvette as he comes down pit lane, Gordon Carter here at the 30-minute mark making his pit stop. Take a look at Berto Crisatianto. He's had a little bit of trouble here in that sort of that back half of that first 30 minutes there. Maybe that last 10 minutes or so. He has really dropped back and losing grip over on Nikolai Gerasimov. About a 5.6 second gap, 5.5 seconds or so gap between P2, P1. So he's wanting to try to close back in, but remember, we got pit stops to handle. Dunbar and Meshkov both on pit lane. As Will Dunbar finishing up his pit stop, you see Berto Crisatianto in P2. Dunbar in the 11th position in the 88 car finishing up his pit stop. Meshkov, the lone driver right now on pit lane. Meshkov probably going to be finishing up that pit stop fairly soon, I would imagine. There we go. Finish it up. Now coming back out on track is Alexander Meshkov. Meshkov now back in the 12th position in the BMW. This guy's been pretty flawless here today, and that is Nikolai Gerasimov. He is always one of those drivers that is in the mix, in the conversation to bring home a victory, not only in GT3 cars, but also in our stock car series as well that runs in this time slot. So he is a great stock car driver, and he also mixes it up in Indy cars too whenever we do our Indy car season. Gerasimov is a tough contender in that as well. These are the guys that not only do they bring talent to the track, they got a lot of racing experience, but they also practice. I mean, you get some guys that come out here and the only practice they get done is the official practice session, and the rest of these guys practice throughout the week and dial in a setup, and then maybe tweak a few things in the official practice setting. But practice is nothing that can substitute for practice. Crisatianto giving up the second position to come on pit lane. So Berto Crisatianto is on pit lane here in the Corvette. And that gives P2 to Ritsky Novar. So Berto in the Corvette is on pit lane. Now finishing up his pit stop. Take a look at Crisatianto finishing up his stop. Just over 26 minutes left to go. Some of these guys, here we go. Our leader, I was going to say some of these guys haven't made a pit. Here we go. Nikolai Gerasimov coming down pit lane. Got a huge lead, huge gap on these guys. So our race leader is on pit lane. Nikolai Gerasimov. Berto Crisatianto after coming off back on track here. Oh, Crisatianto in a 15 car. New tires, cold tires here in the 15, having some issues. Does a good job of keeping it out of the wall. A little bit of kidney litter for him, but Crisatianto has some trouble. After making pit stop, now we see a lot of drivers on pit lane, but Crisatianto, Berto had some trouble after making a pit stop. Just got a little bit loose. The back end of that car comes around, and he does a good job of keeping it out of the wall, but eats a little kitty litter there. Back out on track, no damage there, just a little pride. Just a little damage to the pride, but nonetheless, doesn't lose a spot and doesn't get any damage. Might have boogered up those new tires, though. And our race leader now is Yuta Prasante in the Bentley. We'll take a look at Nikolai Gerasimov after making pit stop, now back out on the track, and he is in the 4th position. Our leader is Yuta Prasante in the Bentley. Simpner 2nd, Bardelli Jr. 3rd, Gerasimov 4th, Berto Crisatianto is in the 5th position. Take a look at Lucas Simpner here in the Radical, running in the 2nd position now. It's about 2 seconds off the race lead. And actually, he is going to end up taking the race lead right here as Prasante on pit lane. Prasante and Bardelli Jr. both on pit lane. So the Bentley and the Ferrari taking some service. As we take a look at Yuta Prasante on pit lane. Also Claudio Bardelli Jr., Lucas Simpner, the leader in the Radical. As the Bentley now in the 5th position, Yuta Prasante coming back out on track, followed by Claudio Bardelli Jr. So those guys finishing up their pit stops. Simpner getting some laps led here with just under 23 minutes left to go in the race. It's been an action-packed race. Prasante now coming back out in the 6th position in the Bentley. Bardelli Jr. now 7th. So Simpner has yet to make a pit stop. Here we go. As we were talking about pit stops, here we go. The radical Lucas Simpner coming down pit lane. The 22-minute mark. And he is now going to give up the race lead back to Gerasimov. So Simpner making a pit stop here in the radical. We said this time and time again, really, even in the stock cars, sort of an unconventional approach to races. And sometimes it really takes drivers by surprise. I mean, he's got something figured out on occasion. When it works like a charm. And he's constantly working that calculator, trying to figure out, hey, what am I going to do here? What's my approach to this race? As now Simpner finishing up his pit stop. And like I said, sometimes that really catches some guys off guard. They can't figure out what the heck he's thinking, but it works for him. And he's won a lot of races in, exercising a lot of patience, not really getting up and get up front and getting aggressive. And, maybe on fuel mileage, something happens. You see that 21 car in the hunt consistently for race wins. After exiting pits, he's now back in the 8th position in the radical. And that's another thing, as I've talked about earlier, that a lot of guys bailed on this radical, or they wouldn't even begin to touch the radical. But Simpner uses that as a challenge and just to prove to these guys that, hey, it's not just the car, it's the person sitting in the driver's seat too. And he is hoping to work on the back of this Aston Martin of Iqbal Kurniawan. Kurniawan running in the 7th position. Just ahead is Claudio Bardelli Jr. Good tight battle here. Bardelli Jr. getting through the lap car of Dennis Uderchin. Take a look at Uderchin in the Corvette. As the radical gets by, Uderchin is down 1 lap in the Corvette. I think it's probably a little bit of a last-minute thing for him to race with us. And I'm so happy to see him come out and race in GT3 cars. He's been getting up real early in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, to race with us in the stock cars. And this guy just has a lot of fun, man. He's really a great guy. And I'd say, as far as popular drivers, you could definitely put him on the list there for being one of the most popular drivers at HORL. Guys just love this guy. His attitude is fantastic. Look at this, Meshkov. Oh, Meshkov around in that hard right-hander. Comes around. Oh, misses the wall. So the BMW have a little bit of trouble here at the 19-minute mark. So Alexander Meshkov getting it straightened back up. Doesn't lose a position. But running in the 11th spot. Good battle here. Chris Atianto and Ritsky Novar battling it out. Ritsky Novar getting by. Chris Atianto now back to the 3rd position as Ritsky Novar picks up that spot. These guys have been in each other's grill all night long. As we take a look at this pass, as Novar in the Porsche sets up that pass. And it gets around Chris Atianto. A couple Psychopath E-Racing gentlemen, so that wasn't too hard of a pass to deal with, I don't think. A little bit of a wave by there, I think. Said, hey, you're going to have to earn it, but I'll wave you by. This guy's on cruise control right now. He's got a 33-second lead. He just came out and said, I'm spanking the field. The other thing that's helped him is that Novar, Chris Atianto, Belevin, Prezant, all those guys just got, Bardelli Jr., those guys just got really, really racy and has had some they've all had a little bit of trouble there by racing each other really hard. Take a look at Claudio Bardelli Jr., another Ferrari in the field. Oh, a little bit wide there for Bardelli Jr. Kicking up a little sand for Kearney Allen in the Aston Martin. Kearney Allen in tow, trying to close in here on Bardelli Jr. A little trouble there with that turn. Scrubbing off a little speed back to the left. Got a little bit of work to do, about 2.3 second gap between Bardelli Jr. and Kearney Allen. Will Dunbar here keep plugging away, running in the top 10 here in the 88 car. A pretty quiet night here for him. As we talked about, he's been really busy this week and also, a little bit under the weather there yesterday. Didn't feel too hot and didn't get a lot of practice in. Normally he would be staying up pretty late and getting some practice in, getting ready for this race, but he was working earlier in the morning today as well. So work getting in the way of the fun. Here we go. Looks like Bardelli Jr. coming back down pit lane. Is this an unscheduled pit stop? That's the question. Bardelli Jr. on pit lane here as he now falls back to the ninth position. Wow. Interesting pit stop there for Bardelli Jr. See Gerasimov getting by John Stanley. A little bit of lap traffic for Gerasimov now. And that's something to think about, too, as you start approaching some of these back markers. How cleanly can you get through? Some of those guys might do a little mirror driving as you're coming up here. I love this section of the track here. Downhill section. Back to a hard right-hander. You should say a double right-hander. So once you start rolling up on some back markers here, you really got to think about how are these guys going to deal with me when I roll up on them. They should be moving over. They'll get the blue flag. Look at this. Claudio Bardelli Jr., after making pit stop here, going to get around Will Dunbar. Will Dunbar gives him a lot of room. And an interesting stop for Claudio Bardelli Jr. I think that's his second pit stop. So maybe he feels like he needed to get back onto pit lane and get some stuff done to his machine. Big ball Kearney Allen in the Aston Martin. And the radical of Lucas Simpner. Oh, no, Kearney Allen. What the heck happened there? Kearney Allen, hard contact. Oh, my heavens, man. Hard contact for the Aston Martin. What in the world went on there? Take a look at this again. And that thing just took off. Oh, he got in the grass and lost the back end of it and then got it over on the left side into the grass and smacking the wall twice. That thing just took off on him because he got in the grass here. On the right side, he's going to just get off just a little bit right there, and it's elevation change. Broke the back end of that car loose. Hard left-hand contact, then back to the right. And hard contact there. Man, that'll shake your dentures loose, huh? Oh, heavens, man. Kearney Allen. Simpner had to be taking a look at this. Look at that. Lucas Simpner says, oh, God, don't come back out on the track. As we try to find out where the rear camera is in this car. Ritsky Novar now running in the second position because he's gotten around Chris Atianto. So Novar in the 97. Quite a bit of gap here. I think he's saying, hey, man, let's just, let's hope Gerasimov has a little bit of trouble. Let's hope that I'm able to keep him between the lines and hold on to this second position, maybe advance a spot. But, Chris Atianto is a fairly solid driver, and he's running in the third position just behind him. John Stanley here in the Aston Martin. A quiet night here for him, running in P13. He's 2 laps down in the Extra Life sponsor machine. Dimitri Belevin in the Ferrari here with just under 12 minutes left to go in the top 5, running in the 4th position. Had a little bit of a scare there earlier in the first run before pit stops. But now seems to have it figured out in the Ferrari, kind of out there by himself. About a 7 or 8 second gap between he and the 3rd position car. And he's got a 3 second gap on Dimitri in the Bentley. Dimitri Belevin in the Bentley. Got around Alexander Meshkov, not 4th position. Meshkov running in the 11th position, 1 lap down. As the 6th of Dimitri Belevin, or excuse me, of Yuta Prezanta, trying to close in on Dimitri. Gordon Carter running in the 8th position. Keeps plugging away here, looking for a top 10 finish. 56 car. A 2.7 second gap between he and the driver in front, which is Iqbal Kurniawan. And I think right now it looks like that maybe Gordon Carter might be a little bit faster here. Let's see if we can't get a handle on that. About 2.5 seconds now. So he is closing in on Kurniawan. Kurniawan has a little bit of damage, I believe, in the Aston Martin. So we'll see if Gordon Carter can close in and maybe pick up P7. Bardelli Jr. had a really tough end of that first run. He got off the track on the right side with just 10 minutes left to go now. And there was some contact. And it doesn't seem like this Ferrari has been able to recover from that. He is running in the 9th position. Coming off a huge race win last night in the Bushwhacker Series. And the Bushwhacker Series will be back in action next week for race number 1 of a brand new season. But congratulations to Claudio Bardelli Jr. for getting the win there at Atlanta last night in the Bushwhacker Series. And here he is mixing it up in the Ferrari tonight here in the GT3 Series. This guy just eats, sleeps, and drinks racing, man. He's a great musician as well. And I teased him a little bit. He plays samba music. I didn't even know what it was until they explained it to me. Sort of a mix of Brazilian culture and African culture music. So it really very interesting music as well, and really loves playing that. And so we call him the Samba Man. This guy's got some championships too in the Bushwhackers, so he's a great stock car driver, and he likes mixing it up in just about anything. And another one of our drivers in an identical paint scheme here, Gerasimov, is the leader. That battle for P2 is starting to tighten up a little bit. It's about 1 second gap there between P2, P3. Novar in the 2nd position. Crisatianto running in P3. Definitely close enough where he's going to pay attention. Trying to close this race out and get a good 2nd place finish. 7:44 left. Just under 8 minutes left to go. And again, we'll take a look at the top 10 in standings coming into tonight's race. I guess we'll do the top 20. As Novar is the leader in points. Bezhikov not here, 2nd in points. Mata not here as well. Crisatianto 4th in points, so a good points night so far for both those guys. Abdurrahman not here as well today. Dunbar 6th in points. He might take a little bit of hit here. I don't know, with Gerasimov tied with him 4-6 coming into tonight's race. Belevin also having a pretty good run, as well as Kurniawan. So that's a tight battle there. If you start looking at where Chris Adianto is with 87 points, down to P9, Kurniawan with 81, that is a tight battle. And that is 4th through 9th, separated by 6 points. Six and a half minutes left to go. Take a look at Chris Adianto in the Corvette. Get some word that Prezanta might have had some trouble here. Prezanta off the track in the Bentley. Doesn't give up a position. He is in the 5th spot, but getting some word that Prezanta had some trouble. Let's see what happened to Yuta Prezanta. Oh, just coming off that turn, that uphill. Hard left-hander and then back uphill. Does not hit anything. That's good news there for the Bentley. Prezanta doesn't give up a position either, so gets the cars pointed in the right direction. Looking good for him. Just looked like the back end broke loose as he was making that left-hander and coming uphill at the same time. Gerasimov starting to roll up on some lap traffic. It looks like 88, Will Dunbar just ahead. Dunbar running in the 10th position as Gerasimov wanted to get around. Might start flashing those lights here before we know it. It's a tough place to pass here, even if you're really not racing that car. It's a tough place to pass in this section of the track. And Gerasimov doesn't have too much to worry about. He's got a 40-second lead over P2, but he wants to cleanly get around. Dunbar gives over to the left side and gives him that spot here into the final turn. Take a look at Denis Shudichin, the next car in line to be lapped by Gerasimov. Now Shudichin already 1 lap down. Gerasimov starting to roll up on him as we finally find the camera. As we see our race leader just behind, Nikolai Gerasimov. We're on board here with Denis Shudichin running in the 12th position. You see right there, closed in pretty darn quickly into the turn. Now your worry at this point is Shudichin having some trouble spinning in front of you and collecting you. And Shudichin going to give Gerasimov a lot of room. As Gerasimov gets by, Shudichin tucking in. Gerasimov navigating lap traffic. And I said that was going to be a little bit of an issue there. Those 2 passes definitely slowed him up quite a bit. Take a look at Will Dunbar as he's trying to get around Denis Shudichin. Now, Will is talking about how he's got a really loose condition here with this Porsche. So he's been able to hang on to this thing, but not without some challenges. Take a look here as Iqbal Kurniawan getting a spot as Lucas Simpner on pit lane, finishing up his pit stop here. Late race pit stop for Luca. Interesting how that worked out. So the fuel mileage game starting to become a factor here. And I start wondering now, do some of these guys not have enough juice to make it to the end? Why did Simpner come down pit lane here for a second time? We've seen a couple drivers do that. Cynthia now back to the 8th position. As Gordon Connor's picked up that spot. So Cynthia has made a late race pit stop here with just 2 minutes left to go. And now finds himself back in P8. Just under 2 minutes left to go. And I got to wonder, are some of these other guys low on fuel? Go back here and check on Lucas Siffer in the 9 car. Oh, Siffer spin in the car. Siffer spun, and Bardelli Jr. got by. Siffer, I don't know what happened there, man. The back end broke loose, but that seemed like almost a sort of a jerk to the left with the wheel. Bardelli Jr. was able to slip through there as Siffer had trouble in the turn. Take a look at here out of the front of Bardelli Jr.'s machine, and right there. And Bardelli Jr. gambles and goes to the high side and gets by as Siffer has trouble. Back here and take a look as Siffer right there. Oh man, just hard left hand, and back end breaks loose. He's on cold tires, and Siffer loses the back end of that car. And looks like he has decided to retire his machine. Got a little angry, I think, at the loose condition and decided to quit. Well, I think it's all over but the shouting here for Gerasimov. As he is in control. This probably will be the last lap. As Nikolai Gerasimov has been the class of the field today here in this Ferrari. Getting by Bardelli Jr. Bardelli Jr. doing the wave by there. You see a couple of the Ferraris. And on the final turn, coming off Ariat Leyendyk turn, and here we go. Nikolai Gerasimov gets the win here at Zandvoort. In the dunes of Zandvoort, and great job for Nikolai Gerasimov. Great run there for him. Ritsky Novar now fighting for that second position. Trying to hold on, and can he pull off a P2 run here with Crisatianto in tow in the 3rd spot? Looks like Novar is going to end up getting that P2 position. And Crisatianto finishes in 3rd. So Gerasimov gets a big win. So congratulations to him. And a good race all in all. So a good race for Gerasimov getting the win. Here at Zandvoort. Meshkov now making his final dash here as he's finished up, it looks like. John Stanley finishing up his effort as well. I think we got everybody in the garage area now. Let's take a look at the final results. here today at Zandvoort. Congratulations to Nikolai Gerasimov getting the win. Ritsky Novar finishes second. Berto Crisatianto with the Corvette finishes third. Dmitry Belevin finishes in the fourth position. Yuta Prezanta finishes in P5. Iqbal Kurdiawan in the Aston Martin finishes in sixth. Gordon Carter finishes seventh. Claudio Bardelli Jr. finishes in P8. Will Dunbar ninth. Alexander Meshkov finishes in the 10th position. Finishing in 11th is Lucas Simfer in the Radical. Dennis Schuderson finishes 12th, and John Stanley finishes in the 13th spot. Congratulations to Nikolai Gerasimov on getting the win here in the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series at Zandvoort. Class of the field today, no trouble for him today, man. Solid effort for the 72 car. Gerasimov came out here and do two things. Kick butt and chew gum, and he was all out of gum, huh? Well, congratulations to Nikolai Gerasimov. Great run for him. These guys will be in action on March the 25th at Interlagos. Great track here, man. This will be a fun one. Coming up on March the 25th. Of course, it'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. And you see Portland and then Daytona Road Course. A little bit of a redo of Daytona. We had some trouble there. All my fault with the, well, actually, I don't know if it's my fault, but it was the cut track thing. Really took some guys, but I think there were a lot of guys that were also cutting track too. But we decided to run this race again. So on April the 22nd, we'll be redoing Daytona. So 3 races to go. Interlagos, Portland, and Daytona here in the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series. Tonight's race has been brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, there are 3 self-managed server packages for you to choose from. You can also host your website or your online store through EliteHostingUSA.com, and that's who provides our servers here at HighOctaneRacing.net. Please join us over there. You'll get updates on schedules, point standings, quick links to the TurnLeftTV, and also, if you'd like to race with us, there's a quick link to the Discord server right there on the HighOctaneRacing.net webpage. High Octane Racing League Saturday Night Thunder will be in action in just a few hours, really. Starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they'll be at Phoenix for 140 laps, race number 9 of the season. Just 2 races to go, Phoenix and Indy. And we got 140 laps tonight in the Saturday Night Thunder, the Cup Series. Mixing it up at Phoenix. Saturday Showdown Series in this time slot will be back in action next week for race number 3 of the season. Charlotte Motor Speedway, a 100-lap race at the Lady Charlotte. That'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March the 11th. Should say March the 18th. Oh boy. Bushwhacker Series will be back in action on Friday, March the 17th. Race number 1 of a brand new season. They'll be at California for a 90-lap race. So don't forget, it'll be broadcast live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have huge fields in this series as well, man. Well over 20 drivers join us each and every week. We had a great race last night at Atlanta to finish out the season. And I'm going to say, again, send out my congratulations to Craig Marizon for winning the championship in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series. Great job to him, first championship, and we'll see next week if he can defend that championship. Kicking it off in California. Well, thanks for joining me here on TurnLeftTV. Really appreciate you being here today. Love drivers or people coming out and watching the races here at TurnLeftTV. Always a lot of fun to broadcast these races. And don't forget, man, I got a ton of videos there that you can watch. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on that bell if you haven't already done so. Smash the bell. And then, of course, click on the links down in the description of this race, especially that one for the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, as well as my Sim Lab web link. If you're interested in purchasing some rig or something through them, please use my link. I would appreciate it. Well, congratulations to Nikolai Gerasimov on getting the win. And that's going to do it for me tonight here on the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series here on TurnLeftTV. Appreciate you being here. Peace to everybody. I am out of here.